time. Note that this may include video and audio of all people present. So please come up to the microphone when you come up to talk. First item of business, or excuse me, the second item of business is our citizens' comments. This is where we let our citizens come and say whatever they want before our body that's unrelated to this particular meeting tonight. Is there anyone that would like to come forward with a comment or a complaint or from the email? I guess no Dawn today?
No Dawn today, she has a sick child.
We will carry
But
on.
we did not receive anything prior for citizen comments.
Okay, very good. Item number 3 is the approval of our January 12th meeting minutes. I had a chance to look through them. Everyone had a chance,
I would
Commissioner?
move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you for that.
I will second that, Mr.
It
Chair.
has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That one carries. Item number 4 on our agenda is the approval of a reason statement for a zone change application. Zone change number 23-0003. That was for Mr. Kinzer. And the applicant wanted to rezone to from the R3 to C3. And we have received that reason statement. I thought everything looked really good on that. I would certainly entertain a motion to approve that as written tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I will make the motion that we, the reason statement for zone change 23-00000503 be approved.
Thank you.
I will second that.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the reason statement. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed? That one carries. Nice. Moving right along. Whew. Number 5, the Hemgardner subdivision. We're looking at the preliminary plat. The subdivision is proposes it's from the original Orchards tract lot consisting of 4.2 acres located between Powers and Birch Avenue and west of 22nd Street. Like we have you at the podium. Are you prepared to let us in on some more info?
Yeah.
Please
Commissioners.
begin.
Commissioners, good evening. I'm Mark Wiggins, City Surveyor. I'll be presenting the staff report. So the preliminary plat of the Heimgardner subdivision proposes to replat an original Orchards tract lot consisting of approximately 4.2 acres into 11 development lots. An existing residence currently occupies the property, but most of the other improvements shown on the aerial have since been removed. The remainder of the property is in a pasture-like condition, I guess you'd say. The proposed subdivision is located between Powers and Birch Avenues, Powers on the north, Birch on the south, and then west of 22nd Street. So this would be 22nd over here. The city limits line actually runs down the center line of 22nd Avenue for the south half of the proposed subdivision. And then these two lots shown here were actually annexed into the city in 2019, so fairly recently. And that was with the Christensen plat at the time that was platted. The remainder of the developments to the east are the Skyview Estates and are now a patchwork of city and county jurisdiction depending on whether they have city sewer services or not. In order to gain city sewer services, they have to annex into the city to gain those services. So our next one will be some photos. And our first photo is taken from the southeast corner of the proposed subdivision. It looks generally north, and the road on the right here is 22nd Street. And at the center, we can see that existing residence, which the applicants intend to save on lot 4 of the subdivision. As you can see, the land is open and relatively smooth and slopes gradually to the north and slightly west. So pretty much just straight away from where the picture is taken. Photo number 2 is also taken from the southwest corner of this proposed subdivision, but is generally looking west along Birch Avenue. So just turned a little bit to the left and looked straight down the street to give you a good view of the rest of the lot there on this end. So for photo number 3, we have crossed the proposed development to the northwest corner and are looking back at towards the south or southeast kind of. This would be the lowest point of the subdivision. And we can again see the existing residence kind of to the near left edge of the photo. And the paved street here in the foreground is Powers Avenue. And for our last photo, we're again at the northwest corner of the proposed development, and we're looking more to the east, showing Powers Avenue along the left side of the photo here. And again, just kind of filling out the rest of the view of the property on this end. Actual preliminary plat. So on the preliminary plat, we can see the proposed configuration of the 11 lots. As proposed, the new cul-de-sac, and the proposed new cul-de-sac here. The proposed new cul-de-sac will require the construction of approximately 250 lineal feet of new public street and associated public utilities. The developers have proposed to utilize the road design shown in City Drawing 3-5, which is utilized for cul-de-sac streets of less than 500 feet in length. And they are requesting that they be allowed to omit the sidewalk on the south side of the street. You can kind of see that here, that they're showing a sidewalk along the north and not on the south. A proposed typical section is shown here, and that once again shows the sidewalk on one side and then no sidewalk on the other. They will, if this is granted, if this is all approved and goes through, they will be required to pay a FILO for the omission of those, that sidewalk on that side of the street. That's part of that standard. The westerly terminus of the cul-de-sac provides a turnaround that fulfills the requirements for a fire access turnaround that is constructed in conformance with the fire department's standard operating procedure number 906. So that's big enough to get the fire trucks turned around in. And the city does have an existing sewer line in Powers Avenue along the northerly frontage of the development. In order to provide service for sanitary sewer service for the remainder of the subdivision, the developer will need to construct sanitary sewer mains in 22nd Street, Birch Avenue, and then also the new proposed cul-de-sac. There have also been some concerns expressed by neighboring landowners that larger storm events cause stormwater to cross 22nd Street on the south side of Powers Avenue. As noted earlier, much of the existing development to the east appears to be generating the stormwater is in the county and beyond the city's jurisdiction. It's hoped that the requirements for on-site stormwater retention required by City Ordinance 80-100, along with the proposed infiltration measures proposed along 22nd Street and Powers Avenue, which can kind of be seen here. You can see that this hatching that's in here, those are infiltration swales along here. There's also one here, but this street does actually slope to the west, so it wouldn't actually come out into 22nd Street anyway. But it's hoped that these measures can help mitigate the increased storm flows. Although the stormwater proposals shown here are just preliminary in nature, if the preliminary plat is approved, the city will work with the developer to ensure that the final stormwater designs comply with the city requirements. Powers Avenue on the north and 22nd Street on the east sides are city streets, but will require the construction of curb, gutter, and sidewalk improvements along the entire frontage of these streets. Due to its narrow width, Birch Avenue frontage improvements will consist only of curb and asphalt patchback. Dedication of public sidewalk, utility, and stormwater easements along the Birch Avenue frontage will also be required in conformance with the city subdivision ordinance. The current zoning of the development area is currently R1, and the proposed lots comply with the minimum requirements for lots in that zone. The proposed subdivision is located in the Lewiston Orchards Irrigation District, and they have agreed to provide utility service contingent upon their approval of the developer's construction plans. Avista Utilities, CenturyLink Lumen, and Sparklight have also confirmed their intent to provide utility services. The preliminary plat complies with the applicable requirements for the City of Lewiston Subdivision Ordinance, which is City Code Chapter 32, and city staff recommends that the Lewiston Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Lewiston City Council approval of the preliminary plat of the Heimgartner subdivision as presented. With this, that concludes my staff report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Just to clarify so I understand, infiltration swales?
Basically what, and I'm not the engineer, but basically what they are is they are low spots between the sidewalk and the curb that then are filled with what we would normally refer to as like a French drain, fabric wrapped drain rock, river rock type rock that allows the water to infiltrate, and it drops it down lower in the ground, so there's a lot more infiltration area, the sides of the trench and the bottom of the trench, and it allows that water to just dissipate. It's more of a natural process for dissipating it, for infiltrating it, but it occurs much faster because of that additional surface area that's created.
So it's not hooked up to like sewer?
There really is no formal stormwater system in this part of the orchards. There are a few areas where there are pipes that are used to, get across streets, sometimes even for longer sections in low spots, but there's no real formal stormwater system up in this part of the orchards.
So, Mark, walk me through where the proposed sidewalk would not be, I guess, you mentioned the fee in lieu of the sidewalk. So on the diagram, I guess we can go with the one closer to me where it wouldn't be.
So what the drawing, the typical section says is you can omit it on one side and, in lieu of the phyllo. And what they're showing here is you can kind of see this hatching, and it's kind of almost looks like some gravel type drawing type stuff. That's where they would be providing the sidewalk. This other side, you can see that there is no hatching on that side. So basically, they'd be providing the sidewalk on one side with the idea that any of these people would kind of cross the street to the sidewalk here and then walk on down this direction. So
Okay.
because it's a lot lower amount of traffic on these small side cul-de-sacs, you can kind of get away with, people crossing to get to the sidewalk on the other side rather than having to have it both sides.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. So it says that the current house will be on lot 4. Could you tell me which one is lot 4?
So the house would actually kind of sit right here.
Okay.
I can actually go back to the original. You can see you can kind of see here, this green roofed building is the residence that you kind of saw in those ground level shots, and this is then lot 4.
So they're gonna get rid of all the stuff south of there?
Most of it's already gone. If you look at some of these, the ground site, see, you can see the only basically building that's remaining is a garage there. All the rest of that stuff has already been removed. I think LOID is using some of this for they've kind of been doing some water line restoration, and they're using this to stage some equipment and materials, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty much already all cleaned out.
And I'm going back to the little plat map. I'm guessing that also indicates that there will be sidewalk on the Powers side and then all the way down 22nd?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so that'll actually end up with sidewalk on both sides of 22nd?
Correct, yes. With the existing improvements that are in the county on that side, and then with all of this being put in, yeah, it'll actually have it on both sides now.
So I think it's probably obvious, but I want to ask anyway. So right now, the cul-de-sac's only serving the 5 interior lots,
Correct.
and then the other lots will be either opening onto Powers or onto Birch?
Yeah, because they have existing frontage on these streets, then that will be their primary address, location, and access.
Mr. Chair? And what are the dimensions of those street-facing lots? So the ones that are facing Powers and the ones that'll be accessing directly? What is the depth on those?
Let me reference that.
100 feet.
Do you want to look at that?
So the lots are generally 155-ish deep by about almost 100 feet wide.
Oh, nice lots.
Okay, so plenty of room for driveways and such.
Correct, yeah. They are all of the lots are actually 15,000 square feet, which
Yeah.
basically qualifies them for duplexes on any of them.
Okay,
So
perfect.
they're fairly large lots.
Yeah. I just I'm blind and can't see those numbers.
Yeah.
No, I don't actually think they're shown on that one. I had to get, there's 5 pages total with the rest of the details,
Last
so.
page of the plat.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see,
Okay,
yeah.
they are really little. Yeah, it's
Those
under
limits are
5
better
to
all
65.
around. Yeah.
Order,
Yeah.
please, with Commissioner Balls.
Oh, so, in your presentation, you mentioned that there are concerns about, runoff water that's hitting the Powers 22 intersection, and that it's coming from the county property next door?
Basically, what we kind of appear to be seeing is the water is accumulating on this side of the street, and there are infiltration facilities on this side, but they don't seem to be taking a lot of water for some reason, and we're not exactly sure, being it's not in the city limits, it's kind of outside of our jurisdiction, and we can't go digging things up and checking what's going on. But it appears to be coming down here, and then because it's building up and not infiltrating yet, it then crosses, comes into this, essentially ditch on this side, and then runs down, and it eventually runs down into a culvert that's here and continues down along the line. You can kind of see in the overhead view, you can see this light color is actually a valley gutter that it crosses there.
Okay.
And then when it comes to this corner is where that culvert is at, and you can kind of see in the last photo here, this kind of low spot here is basically the road ditch that it's running down.
So the east development is, slightly higher in elevation, which
Yes,
is.
yeah, everything, as you go east from here, I guess, the best way to explain that, kind of goes uphill. And you can kind of see where we're standing here on the road. You can see how it kind of goes up and away the entire distance. Yeah, everything kind of goes up that way, so it's all flowing towards us at this point
Okay.
in this picture.
Thank you.
Other questions for Mark? Thanks again, Mark. Appreciate it. All right. Well, we've heard from Mark. We're ready to make a motion to approve this.
I will make the motion to approve the Heimgartner subdivision. And I believe we're forwarding that to the city council, correct?
Absolutely.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Hemgardner subdivision plat to the city council. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Number 6 on our agenda is the staff communications and inquiries. Katie, do you have some good news for us tonight?
So the first thing is, the new member will be appointed at the work session on the 1st. So that'll be good. He wasn't able to be appointed at the last city council meeting because the mayor was absent and he has to do the appointments. And then the other thing is for the May 10th meeting, I currently don't have any applications or any other business that would come in front of the commission. So if the commission wishes, we could go ahead and cancel that meeting.
I'll be out of town anyway, so.
That sounds good to me. I don't think we need a motion for that.
I'm in favor.
Right?
I believe in the past, it's just been a general
Just a
consensus
general
of everybody.
I'm
consensus.
fine with that.
If you're okay with missing a meeting on May the 10th.
Yeah, May the 10th,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone's good with that?
I'm good with that.
Great. Let's cancel that meeting, Katie. That sounds great.
And that's all I have.
That's it. Well, I want to thank the team again. Once again, I couldn't do it by myself. And I'd certainly entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will start that motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Gabe.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for coming.